pay cuts in store for Customs and Immigration Union members. Leslie Miller livid after the crisis center returns his check. Plus, could government lift the casino ban for Bahamians? We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm Bonnie Toot, and MB12 starts now. Topping news tonight, government is following through on its threat to immediately cut the pay of customs and immigration workers who refuse to report for their regular shifts. Labor Minister Shane Gibson says he doesn't care how long members of the Bahamas Customs Immigration and Allied Workers Union stayed on the job, revealing today that those workers who showed up at the wrong time will see a smaller amount on their salary slips. He also suggested the strike poll taken by members last week is now irrelevant.
There were some who didn't show up, and so those persons will be dealt with swiftly. We don't want them to go to bed tonight and have to sleep for a month trying to figure out what we'll do. So we'll move swiftly in cutting their salaries.
Gibson pulled no punches today, telling reporters government will move swiftly to cut the pay of those customs and immigration workers who did not report for their regular shifts. Government officials warned members of the Bahamas Customs Immigration and Allied Workers Union last week they would face disciplinary action if they did not report for duty as assigned. However, union leaders insisted they were not intimidated by those threats. Well, Gibson says it's now time to pay the price.
So for those officers who showed up at 9 when they were supposed to show up at 4, it didn't work. You could stay on the job all day. As far as we're concerned, you didn't work because you didn't show up for your 4 o'clock shift.
So will they pay for that?
Absolutely. I mean, right away, as quickly as we could get a cut. Because the point is, if you didn't work, you cannot expect to be paid. And then what am I saying to the thousands of workers who actually showed up and worked?
After losing its court battle with government, the union applied for a strike vote which was held on Friday. However, the labor minister dismissed union leaders' suggestion that the strike poll was a success. He claims the union has over 1,000 members, but less than 200 people showed up. Besides, he suggested the poll is irrelevant at this point.
I don't know how the strike will take place in any case, because today I referred the matter to the Industrial Tribunal. Once a matter is referred to the Industrial Tribunal, then all industrial action must cease. So even though they took a strike vote on Friday, it is of no effect, because I referred the matter today. You see, so all they need to do is come to the table, sit down, let's talk.
The union wants medical coverage for roughly 300 clerical workers and other benefits, including moving allowances for officers who are transferred to other jurisdictions. Union leaders have accused the Progressive Liberal Party of pouncing on an opportunity when workers went on strike under the Ingram administration back in April 2012, but failing to deliver on its promises when it came to office. However, Gibson insisted the Christie administration is labor-friendly.
When we came to office in 2012, we had about a dozen industrial agreements outstanding. We have signed all except one. We sound like a labor-unfriendly government. Aren't we a labor-friendly government? You had 12 outstanding. 11 of them were agreed to except one. The only one outstanding is Customs and Immigration because they are being unreasonable.
Management at Grand Lucayan and Freeport has reportedly informed the Commonwealth Union of Health Services and Allied Workers of plans to terminate the services of more than 50 workers. In a statement released this afternoon, Union President Michelle Dorsett called it a sad situation for those workers, whom she says are the sole breadwinners in their homes and are already struggling to make ends meet. Dorsett is now calling on the government to intervene, adding the union is now readying itself for battle. Tourism Minister Obi Wishcombe says he is not aware of the situation, but is headed to Grand Bahama and will look into the union's claims. Attempts to reach Arlucaya were unsuccessful up to news time. Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller has suggested today that officials at the Bahamas Crisis Center are being disingenuous after learning that his $1,000 donation has been rejected. In a press statement issued Sunday afternoon, Crisis Center Director Sandra Dean Patterson called the slight a teachable moment for the nation. She equated Miller's financial gift to the honeymoon period, which often occurs between abusers and their victims after an attack, during which she said the victim is showered with gifts, money, jewelry, flowers, and other niceties. The statement was released just after 3 p.m. Sunday. Miller told NB12, though, he met with Dean Patterson about an hour later at 4:15, but she never told him she had no intention of accepting his donation. Miller apologized for joking in Parliament about beating a former girlfriend and presented the crisis center with a check for $1,000 last week Thursday. He pledged to be a spokesperson in Parliament for the center, an offer officials also refused. Prime Minister Perry Christie raised more than a few eyebrows last week Thursday when he revealed in the House of Assembly that he called the managing director of a bank in a last-ditch effort to save Chief Fed Advocate Ishmael Lightbourne's house. Christie's revelation came as he attempted to defend Lightbourne against what he called vicious attacks after the Nassau Guardian revealed the tax messenger hadn't paid his taxes in at least 10 years. Take a look.
I called the managing director of the bank and asked the managing director, she was traveling, I said, please call me. She called me. What can I do as prime minister to stop this man from being put out his house today? They had to close down. I stopped it. They allowed me to stop it. I went to my colleagues the following week in cabinet, the following day, 2 days afterwards, and told them what I was going to do. I told them, Mr. Speaker, that I had underpaid him considerably, that I made the right mistake to hire him, but the bad mistake not to pay him.
It turns out CIBC First Caribbean International Bank had secured a court order to secure the property. However, Free National Movement Chairman Darren Cash accused Christie of fake indignation and questioned why he didn't go to bat for hundreds of other Bahamians whose homes have been repossessed by banks.
Yes, it is good that he will go to bat for a friend, but what made his fake indignation rather embarrassing and insulting is the fact that this is the same prime minister who has not demonstrated that level of care for the average Bahamian out there. People are insulted that the prime minister would use his office to so cold and calculatingly make the case for a single individual when people expect that the prime minister is going to go to bat for everyone.
Cash asserts that Christie's feeble defense of Lightbourne was an attempt to distract the public from the bad choice he made when he hired someone who encouraged Bahamians to pay their taxes when he wasn't taking his own advice. Furthermore, the F&M chairman says he wishes the prime minister had been this passionate about his government's failed mortgage relief plan.
This disengaged prime minister, when he had an opportunity to stand up, when his mortgage plan failed so miserably, it became clear that it failed in part because the prime minister himself did not make it a high priority. He did not engage and did not know what was going on, and so when he stands on the floor of the House of Assembly and talking about the fact that people were criticizing his own bad judgment, it did not go over well with the majority of Bahamians.
From the crime beat, 2 American men are expected to be charged in the magistrate's court tomorrow in connection with the murder of a Pennsylvania man on Bimini. Assistant Commissioner of Police Emric Seymour confirmed to NB12 today that the 2 suspects would be flown to New Providence to be arraigned. Police arrested 4 Caucasian men on Friday following the stabbing of 45-year-old businessman Carl Yerger. Seymour said the other 2 men would be released. On Friday, police said one of the men was bleeding from the nose and had blood on his hands and feet when officers took him in for questioning. Yerger, the owner of Custom Milling and Consulting in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, was reportedly in the Bahamas on business when he was found around 7 a.m. Friday on the grounds of a resort on Bimini. Yerger's company's website only said he passed away while traveling abroad. Authorities believe they have prevented a crime from being committed this morning after they arrested 3 men riding in a vehicle with 2 different sets of license plates. 2 of the men were outfitted with ankle bracelets but reportedly tried to tamper with the electronic monitoring devices. Officer in charge of the Firearms Tracing Unit, Ken Strawn, told NB12 that mobile patrol officers were patrolling the area when they noticed the men sitting in this blue Ford SUV, which was parked in the Marathon Mall parking lot. He believes the vehicle may have been stolen.
What aroused the officer's suspicion was the fact that attached to this vehicle was 2 sets of plates, both the front and the rear. the officers, upon approaching the vehicle, which was clearly masked by dark tints, they identified 3 adult males within the vehicle. When they checked these individuals, 2 of whom were adorned in electronic monitoring devices, which had been masked to circumvent their locations. However, they were taken into custody, and the police are checking to determine their reasoning for being in this area.
Strawn says police are also trying to determine if any crimes were committed in the Marathon Road area this morning. A crowd gathered in the mall's parking lot as officers ordered the suspects to lie on the ground. A tow truck was seen towing the vehicle out of the lot. Strawn says they believe the 2 men wearing ankle bracelets used foil to tamper with them.
You might have seen a bunch of foil wrapping flying about the place. What we have found that when we checked 2 of these individuals, they were, as I'd indicated, tagged, and they made efforts to try and shield their movements with these devices. We are in contact with the EM department, and they have indicated to us certain things with respect to it, and so our investigations will continue